Gotcha moment.
That was a good gotcha moment. All right, we're back. I slated. We came in laughing, Mom. We came into this new segment laughing.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we go to another verse? We'll do another Bible chat here. Just so you know, you who are watching this, the beginning of this segment, we just finished the Bible chat segment dealing with when Jesus was hanging on the cross, referencing Psalm 22. So we just finished that, and she's still laughing about how I ended it with saying you only have one life, and it goes on forever. So is taking her words and disagreeing with her. Oh, one life's not enough time to learn everything. We only have one, and we have forever. So it is actually enough time.
I meant one human life.
Well, humans are designed to be immortal. So I still disagree
That's
with
true.
you.
Okay. All right.
I'm
That works.
I'm messing with you, but it's can you do you have another verse, or do you want to read one of those other ones that I had sent?
Let's do 16, John 16:7.
Did we already do that one? No, we didn't. All right, go ahead.
No. Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, John chapter 16, verse 7 says, "But I tell you the truth, it is for your good that I'm going away. Unless I go away, the counselor will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you. When he comes, he will convict the world of guilt in regard to sin and righteousness and judgment."
All right, I want to focus on the beginning part of that. So read the beginning again.
But I tell you the truth, it is for your good that I am going away. Unless I go away, the counselor will not come to you. But if I go, I will send him to you.
All right, that's all right.
I read a little more.
No, that's fine. Um, tell me what he's talking about from your understanding.
Well, he's talking to the disciples,
Yep, he's talking to the
and
disciples.
he's what he's doing is he's beginning to explain the work of the Holy Spirit, right?
Yeah, exactly. So the helper there, in my version, I imagine in your version, is a capital H.
Uh, well, the word that I have is counselor,
Counselor,
capital C.
capital C. Okay. Yeah, so it's a comforter, counselor, helper, but theologians agree unanimously. Well, Christian theologians, Orthodox Christian theologians, unanimously agree that is a reference to the third member of the Trinity, the Godhead, the Holy Spirit. So there's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Well, can I jump in here?
Yeah.
Um, I had, I won't name the group that came and knocked on my door one day. And actually, I always invite them in. It's a perfect opportunity.
I love
So
talking
in
to
they
them. Yeah,
came. Yeah, they came in. We sat down.
they're social distancing now, so I don't know what they're doing, but
I'll try to make this short, but then we got on the subject of the Trinity, which of course they,
oh wow,
you
yeah.
know,
Mm-hmm.
they don't believe that. Anyway, I said to them, look, you know, I I liken the idea of the Trinity is very much, think of it as water. Water out of your tap, water out of the ocean, water anywhere. If you subject water to a certain temperature, it's no longer water. It becomes hard. It freezes. And it serves many purposes in that form.
Its chemical makeup remains the same, but it is different. It is
Exactly.
not water.
If you take water and put it in a pan on the stove and boil it, you get steam. Steam in that form serves many, many, many purposes. It's still water, but you subjected it to temperature. And then water is simply liquid, which we use in many, many, many instances in life and in nature. So You know,
Right.
I don't know if that's a poor illustration. Maybe it's too simplified, but I
No.
was trying to convey to them the idea that, you know, God, the Trinity is God in three persons, each of which performs very specific functions. I know that's oversimplified.
Well, the thing is, that's a useful metaphor for demonstrating how one thing can have three different states. It's the same thing, but in three different states. But every metaphor, in particular, that is used about the Trinity is always limited, because you're using a physical analogy, something, those are physical properties we're talking about. So it's inherently, or by definition, it's limited in its comparative or explanatory power.
You're breaking up a little bit.
Sorry, the recording got it all. You'll just have to listen back and get the rest of it.
Anyway, they got up and left.
You chased them out. Well, but that's good, because the Trinity is actually one of those. I mean, you can be confused about. I believe you can be confused about the Trinity and be a Christian, because the doctrine is quite confusing, but you cannot deny it and be
it's all over Scripture. It's all over it.
But this passage, this isn't something that I've been taught, or it's there. One day recently, within the last maybe year or two, when I was reading through this particular passage, something struck me that I've never heard anybody talk about, and I don't have an answer for it. I only speculate, and I kind of like the speculation. So I'm not saying this is gospel. I don't want to be accused of heresy if I'm saying something. I'm just speculating. So Jesus says specifically, basically, to paraphrase, he says, if I don't go away, this other thing, this other part of God can't come. I mean, he says it. It's conditional. He's like, if I'm here, basically the reverse of what he says is, if I stick around, you won't get the helper. Right? That's right. What he's saying is, I must go away in order for the helper to come. The inverse of that is, if I just hang around here, then you guys won't get a piece of me, right? More or less, that you guys won't get this gift that's intended for you. And so then I think, all right, well, this is just the beginning of a process. This is Jesus has, history crossed the threshold when he resurrected, like when he died. That was the pivotal moment of history where God has redeemed creation. Like, creation is redeemed in that moment. It is finished. He has paid for sin, and now it's all been reversed and set in the opposite direction. And so the beginning of that process of turning things around is this coming helper, or it's Jesus resurrecting, going out and teaching everyone for 40 days, and then giving the Great Commission, and then taking off, like disappearing, vanishing. And then before vanishing, saying, "Go, hang out and wait. Go, the helper's coming." But the fact that he says the helper can't, essentially, he says the helper can't be here while I'm here. There's some spiritual dynamic that happens, and if you extrapolate this out further, because we believe in a return, right? That's that's the one thing we all agree upon in eschatology, is Jesus is coming back. Well, I must say, I think the hyper-preterist, or there's a preterist version that doesn't actually believe in a bodily return. That's not the type of preterism that I talk about when I talk about preterism. But aside from that, and some other, inevitable factions of Christendom, they're not, that the return of Jesus is one of those things that we have general agreement upon. But when Jesus comes back, if he said the Holy Spirit can't be with you while I'm here, what about when he comes back? I'm not proposing this, but then does the Holy Spirit leave us? right? If he comes back and says, "Oh, I'm here," now you can't have, like, there's something. He makes the implication that that both conditions can't coexist. His presence physically and our receiving of the Holy Spirit. And that's the only thought, that's the thought that occurred to me in reading this passage. And it's like, well, again, that's one of those things we're going to understand at some point. But what?
Well, Jesus told them, if I go, I will send him to you. So Jesus was going somewhere and going to send him. See what I mean?
Yes, but and then what is the phrase that we use when somebody becomes a Christian? Who comes into your heart?
We say the Holy Spirit.
Well, we also say accepting Jesus into your heart. Like,
right.
Jesus comes and inhabits our heart, and this is also the temple metaphor, or the picture of the temple. The high priest would go into the Holy of Holies, right? Once a year, there's this special place reserved only for the high priest. Jesus being the high priest, your heart, and I'm not talking about the organ that pumps blood, like the center of your being, who you are, that's right. Jesus being the high priest. He comes in and he stays there, right? He comes in and stays there. And it's like, okay, that is him indwelling us. He lives inside of us, and we have surrendered our lives to him. And so it's like he puts on the Michael skin, or he puts on the Miracle Mom skin and looks like you and sounds like you and laughs like you, but he is living through you and acting out his will through you when you've surrendered to him. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Why I've messed it up.
Well, and that's actually, you know what? We're going to go on a tangent. I know. I keep saying, oh, that's a topic for another day, and I don't write it down. And it's like, when am I going to get back to this? I'm going to say it here. I'm going to tease it here, and then you're going to have to hold me to it at some point. But I like talking a lot about providence, about what that word actually means. And so that'll be a tease for another segment coming up. I don't know when, but it'll be up to you. It'll be up to you to remind me. Giving you
ask your 75-year-old mother to remember anything over the past 72 hours.
I'm such a bad son, right? Giving you homework?
No.
I'm just telling you one word. Just remember that one word.
Okay. I'll do my best.
All right, Mom. Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Say goodbye to your fans.
Goodbye, fans.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.
Coming back.
Thanks for watching. Again, subscribe. Push this, click on Mom's face right here. Click on Mom's face, and then send this.
Don't forget to click the like button.
Yeah. Oh, and click like, click subscribe, and then pass this clip on. Share this link with somebody that you think might find our borderline heresy interesting. All right. Love you, Mom.